How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm Jay Hadwinn, brand ambassador of the spot. Okay, let me try to hold on, you guys. Hold on. Oops. All right, had to clean off those lens. There we go. Let me see. All right. All right. Get this right. And we'll get into what I'm going to talk about today. Today, family, we're talking about really what money could do, especially for organizations that that are groups at first and become organized and become organizations. First of all, I want to talk to the black community. I want to talk to the black community because it's a lot of changes in the world and a lot of the things that we do are extremely outdated. And that's okay. Just try not to get mad at what I'm saying because it really will help us if we organize and get this together. First, I'm going to repeat myself by saying, like I always say, if we get if we have 1% of our most serious wannabe business owners or business owners, that's 500,000 of us. 500,000 brothers and sisters paying $10 in a pot. We have a organization where those people take care of the money, they're licensed. If they do anything wrong with the money, no Dr. Umars in our crew. None. We're not going to have that. But if they do it, that's 10 years in prison. We're not going to play with our people money and our communities that we can build money. We have to be serious about this. And you don't have to feel bad, brothers and sisters who are listening to this. And let me tell you why. Because every other ethnicity does this. They will form a bank or they will just have a chamber of commerce and like the Korean coalition on it and distribute the money. But we don't want to do it. Black people were too kumbaya when it comes to money and when it comes to spending with other ethnicities. We're too kumbaya. So what that does is it hinders us. Okay, let me give you an example. If 500, that's 1% of black people in America, 500,000. We put $10 in a pot, that's 5 million a month. With 5 million a month, we could buy commercial buildings in our neighborhood. We could prevent drug dealers from coming in our neighborhood by paying these drug dealers off. No pitching on the blocks. This is why you have organizations. Money is a tool. Money is a tool. Money isn't meant to splurge and look hoard and buy other ethnicities' cores and roll around and look important and have their clothes. Why do you think they want us to do that? Why do you think they want us to rap about that? Because they want us to spend our dollar on them. And then they build their communities. Let me tell you this also, brothers and sisters. Gentrification has some pros to it. It's not always it's not always a con. If people want to move in your community and you knew how to take care of your house, you knew that, okay, forget this new core. I'm going to make sure my property tax are paid. I'm going to make sure my crib stays nice. I fix the roof once every 20 years, however long, and then the property values stay high. And if other ethnicities want to move in, you're going to get top dollar for your asset. We're not understanding that about, capitalism. Brothers and sisters, we have to learn capitalism. Learning capitalism is boring, but it will save your effing life. When you learn capitalism and you learn how to group together and form organizations, you could buy whole neighborhoods. And I got Korean friends back home in LA. I got Japanese friends. I'm not going to tell you which ones. I got Jewish friends. But it's organizations out there. They got organization, Jewish Federation. They got the Korean Coalition. They got Japanese organizations. They have Middle Eastern organizations in America. They have buildings that those organizations has bought. And those organizations paid it all cash. And the people who have children in those apartments, they pay, it's like 50% off rent, while other ethnicities in there are paying whole. They could do that because it's their building. They do that all day long. So inflation doesn't harm them as much. But we don't do that. We're not organized. We could do that in our neighborhoods. If you have parents and you have 2 or 3 children, and these parents are together, not apart, give them half off the rent if we own the buildings. Make inflation like it doesn't even matter. And then they could save up money, and then they could get themselves a house. We have to have programs, organizations, we have to share the wealth, and we have to put our money and trust in an organization. I put my trust in my brother's spot, which is Afrobiz. I put my trust in them like, I could say 2.5 years ago. This is a 100% Black owned tech company. Now I'm making passive income monthly. I put a lot of money into those websites. And now no one knows my ethnicity, and they judge on my services. And my brother's spot, which they created the website, they coded it, all that. And now I make passive income. I don't have to work a 9 to 5. Listen, AI is going to take a lot of jobs, brothers and sisters. Other ethnicities already know this, and they're getting ready. They have a plan B, plan C, plan D. We don't plan ahead. We don't plan ahead. So we have to start planning ahead. That's why I'm doing this live. It may be boring to some. I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm not being funny. I'm not making faces like Ice Show Speed. I love watching him, but AI is coming. America's going to change. It's going to be a new level of poverty in about 8 to 10 years. All I'm trying to do is help, brothers and sisters. And my brother Spot is bringing new things to this YouTube channel. It looks like we're going to have a brand new host. Thank God, because I suck at hosting. If you go on my brother's spot and you look on some of my videos where I'm interviewing people, I suck. Not everybody's good at something, at certain things. I'm good at certain things, but I'm sure as hell not good at interviewing. So we have a young lady, and I'm so excited. I can't wait till you guys meet her. She's very professional. You know what I'm saying? And I'm ecstatic at how much she's willing to work with us. And a lot of people are going to like her. She has a likable personality, and I believe more people will want to get on the platform and show Black people how things could be done differently. You could go later on and watch all your gossip, brothers and sisters. You could watch your Atlanta Housewives. You could watch your stupid trap videos. Drug dealers, I don't know why we don't look at it like this, but they should be the sellout of our community. They help the CIA that brought the crack in hinder our family units. Our family units are fucked up because of them. So we have to look at things differently. And sometimes you got to pour shame upon people. I really don't care about, even though it's weird, brothers sagging their jeans and showing their drawers. As long as you're not selling drugs in the community and getting more and more brothers and sisters hooked. And then those brothers and sisters have kids and the chemicals are in the children. We have to start looking at things straight. We deserve to live just like everybody else. We don't have to live in communities where they shooting and it always has to be emotional. And I got the hardest community. I could go back to my LA accent. You know what I'm saying, homie? I was raised in a Crip neighborhood. I don't have to live like that. I still wear my t-shirts. I still wear my high tops, sometimes with my socks high, because that was my tundra. You know what I'm saying? But do I have to reenact it? Do I have to reenact it? Do I have to reenact it what I see on TV and a lot of the Jewish people always sign and want actors to portray us like this? Are gangbangers to portray us like this, like majority of us do this shit? No, we tolerate it in the neighborhood. We tolerate it. Don't mean we want to be around that shit. That's why motherfuckers move out. But we could change this with the tool called money. People that are from other countries. In the 70s, 60s, and 70s, so-called African Americans, black people, whatever you want to call us, everyone had their family. Everyone had their mom and dad. Y'all didn't see that shit though. And then the CIA came in and taught our kids how to create crack. As a matter of fact, I'm not gonna say, but it's a close personal, maybe family that's in prison for life. You know why? Because him and his homie shot a CIA dude. They didn't know it, and that CIA dude was a black man, and he taught him how to cook crack. You don't think they did that all around America? That was tested in labs before it even hit the street. They meant to mess up our families. Now you got single parent homes, and then check this out. Now these people, the Jewish people, are only signing these labels. See, they smart. They're only signing trap and just drug dealers. It's so many people out there. Jay-Z was dope. You know how many conscious rappers like Kendrick Lamar and Nas that say Nas is edgy, that it's so many of them. It's saturated, but they won't sign them. They'll say, oh, they don't sell records. Yes, they would. The Roots went crazy and sold records. And it's a lot of Roots. I'm from LA. I seen them on Venice Beach. And like, damn, I'm growing up. Why don't you have a record deal? And some of them got a record deal and they put them because they were so powerful. That shit was deliberate. That shit was deliberate. And this is what I'm talking about. They want other people to see us in another light. They want people to be afraid of us. They want us to look so jacked up and stupid. So when other people find out the truth, kind of what happened, but not as deep as I'm talking about, they'll say, oh yeah, they deserve it. They deserve it. And it doesn't shun what they have done. And I'm not talking about all the ethnicities that do this slick shit to so-called African Americans, because majority of the people in those communities, they just let it happen because really they just trying to survive, and they're good people. They're not bad people, but they're evil people hinder our growth. They hinder our growth on purpose. They don't want us to organize. They do all kind of mental things. They make it cool to be a fool. So our geeks and our smart kids that are in school and all that, they get picked on. So where are they gonna go? They gonna go work for these motherfuckers and make their stuff better. And then they breed out like Michael Jackson. Look at Michael Jackson kids. He sperm donored it. It's not hard to make a black person white in 2 to 3 generations, y'all. And then they get all that money. Do you think Kobe daughters is gonna marry someone black? So Kobe did all that work, made all that money. I hope they marry a Latino or something like that. You know what I'm saying? All that money to someone that's not of their ethnicity. So this is why I'm talking about our community organizing before we get fully infiltrated and jacked up. Like South Africa is for the black Africans. Why do white people own most of South Africa, the Cape Town and all that? Why do they all own all that? That shouldn't be happening. But they do. And you know what? I'm not from there, so I don't know fully what's going on. And if just the Africans were lazy, I don't know, and just let them have it. But I know for a fact it was a lot of cheating. And from what I heard, that's a beautiful place. I do want to go there, but I know I'm going to be saddened by the natives not really owning their stuff and what they went through, and Nelson Mandela helped them through. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. It's like, brothers and sisters, we really have to get our act together, and we have to stop playing. Because I know we're only playing. We're not really serious. And we're going to have to do more boring shit than fun shit. Because that's the only way we're going to build a force field around us. A lot of other ethnicities have a force field around them, and the force field is money. Because money is a tool. It's not happiness, but it's a tool, and it gives you options, and it gives you time when you have a lot of it, and you're not chasing it. You just like, okay, I'm locked in here. I got 4 multifamily units that are 10 unit plus, and it's all paid off. I don't have a mortgage. So those are the people that could spend time with their kids. Because really, when you spend time with your children, that's the real education, and you give them good morals. That's the real education. You could have them at home, teach them good morals, all that, and really teach them how America works as a corporation and finances and all that, and they'll be just fine. And a good amount of English, you know, so they could speak and they could communicate. You don't need all the other subjects. Now, if your son likes numbers or your daughter likes numbers, they could be an engineer, but you still got to teach them finances. Why do you think they don't teach us finances in school? Because they don't want you competing against their wealthy ass kids and overtaking them, because they're spoiled, and they know this. And then the spoiledness gets out of them once they hit around 40 and get serious. Human beings like us, when we hit 40 or 50, we start getting serious because we know we only have like 20 to 30 years in us. It's very natural. That's just how we are. That's how we built. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, probably a lot of people will look at this YouTube video later and not like it because the truth is painful. We don't want to deal with the truth. It's a lot of stress in the truth, but if you learn how to deal with the truth, brothers and sisters, and you dig down deep and be uncomfortable for as long as you can, that's when you improve. Someone said a big lake. I don't give a fuck about this lake. The reason why I got a crib on the lake was because if we have an epidemic where there's a food shortage, I'm gonna go my ass right to the lake and get fucking catfish and goddamn bass and some crayfish, whatever they call them motherfuckers. I ain't never even fished in my lake. You know what I'm saying? I've never fished in it, and I don't give a fuck. I don't want no one fishing in it. Let's save that shit up. You know, I wanted to grow food in the back, on the side, you know, above the what, so I could have some fucking food if it go. I don't give a fuck how it look. This is a survival thing. I'm from LA. Man, y'all didn't see me the times when I was homeless in my core for 8 months, 7 to 8 months in my core. I had to park by a goddamn 24-hour fitness. Y'all didn't see that shit. Y'all just seeing this like, oh, this motherfucker pride. And probably low key, deep down jealous. And y'all didn't even see what I did to get this little piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just seeing this. Americans are so jealous. It's jealousy because you feel that you deserve something that you didn't fucking earn. I worked my ass off for this shit. I worked my ass off. And this is not even like a bum spread. I'm far from rich. I'm far from wealthy. I'm like Earth to Mars from wealthy. I'm just very strategic. I'm just very strategic. I'm 53. I don't have any kids. I'm very strategic because I couldn't afford them. Black people, brothers, sisters, I'm just being straight up with you. Stop having kids if you're not making a good amount of money because children deserve a great environment. They don't deserve to come down here and they fucking struggling and they dealing with you know, baby gangsters and YGs as they call them out here. They don't deserve that. Stop doing that. Stop doing it for a fucking paycheck. That's selfish as fuck, and it harms our communities and our culture. That harms our communities and culture the most. If mothers and fathers stayed together, that will make our communities, even if we weren't financially, you know, illiterate, that would still help us a lot. A lot. Just that. Just little kids seeing their mom and dad together every once in a while, kissing and hugging, that normalizes the brain. And those women are going to want to do that instead of being sexy red. And then those young men are going to want that and not want to be like little trappy. Everything's little. Why do we want to be little? Why don't we want to be big? Why don't we want to big up our communities? Everyone else does it, you know, and whoever is upset at Black people wanting to help themselves, you got a mental health issue. You have mental health issues. What are you afraid of? We don't ever try to take over the world. We're not poisoning the skies with chemtrails, with heavy metals, and we're, you know, absorbing all of that. We're not poisoning food and people like Bill Gates. We don't go over and kill other people of other cultures and other races. You know what I'm saying? We're not hanging Asians and white people and all that. We don't do that. We don't go all over the world and start wars. We don't bother nobody. But we do harm to each other. But that is mentally engineered in us. It's mentally engineered in us. Yeah. Don't bring a kid. Yeah. Don't bring a kid in this world if you can't afford them. The Japanese totally understand that because they grew up with morals. That's why they're at a negative childbirth rate, and it's their government government job to start paying them so they can have children. The only reason why back in the days you have children when you poor because people own land and they needed those children to tend to the livestock and the vegetables and the fruits and all. So nowadays we not living like that. You think I didn't want children? Heck yeah. I love oh daughter. I'll be a good, girl dad. My son, I'll be hard on him like my dad was hard on me. He had to be hard on me. He had to make me afraid of his authority because if I wasn't, I was raised in a Crip neighborhood. I would have been bucking at the system. And then I would have got put in prison. I would have had a felony. And then my worth as in getting a job would be lessened. And then on top of that, I wouldn't have had the epiphany of seeing how my mom and dad did shit. So I would have had a couple baby mamas. So what baby mamas do, it drains your pocket. So if you don't have money, you can't defend yourself. If you don't have money, you don't have any options. That's why you see brothers rolling around, they smoked out, rolling around and out of it because they're exhausted. They're seeing all this stuff on television. Bruh, that look good, bruh. But they can't do it because no one simply told them what my dad told me and moms. If you can't afford a child, don't have one. Wear your Jimmy hat. Stop busting in women raw. Bruh, oh, I'm busting in raw. I'm having me a baby. But that's a fucking 18-year contract. Because she gonna be like, you're not doing everything I tell you to do. This is the poo nanny games. You're not gonna do everything I tell you. So I'm just gonna straight up hormoose my poo nanny. And you're not getting nothing. And then it goes to, well, I'm just gonna move here and I'm gonna make some money off of you. And I'm gonna use it as a passive income. My child will be okay. And on top of that, I'm gonna get a job and mix that shit with it. So I really, gonna be making a certain amount of money off your sperm. You donor. All you worried about is your boner. No money makes you a loner. Now you want to make spirits out here because you're upset. I messed up on that bar. But I don't care because I could spit. I used to could spit, man. You know what I'm saying? But I like hip hop, so I didn't really want to sign. Let me tell you why I never wanted to be a rap artist. I just wanted to freestyle at certain places. I freestyled at the Good Life once. I held my own. I was surprised. I wasn't bad. That was a place in Leimert Park back in the days where MCs when they freestyle. But the reason why I didn't want to become a rap artist, and I used to love to rhyme. You know what I'm saying? I used to love sessions, freestyle and all that. But the reason why is because all them motherfuckers that get killed it'll be some jealous shit popping off, some street shit. And even Redman got it. All of them got it. And they could have got shot like Tupac, but they had the brains to get out of it. But I didn't even want to be around that shit. Because jealousy lurks heavy in the Black community. Especially when your mama only raised you and she was a jealous woman. That's your tundra. That's your environment. So as men that are strong as hell, they strong and they walking through here and don't know how to control their tempers. That's why they blast on cats. That's why they blast on them. You know what I'm saying? That's why if they catch they woman in bed with another man, oh yeah, I've heard many stories out here. South dudes, y'all gotta stop that shit. Don't kill no one because someone with your your woman, and sure as hell don't touch her. You don't know how to pick. You didn't pick a lady, you picked a hoe. You picked a hoe, homie. Stop being a simpleton. I see so much potential out here in the South, but you guys, you brothers out here haven't been shown so many other different environments that the way you think is so small. And I'm not trying to dish you, but it is. LA dudes are more, and New York dudes are more, and let me tell you why. Because they're around a lot of other ethnicities. So when you meet people and you're able to move outside of your communities without doing stupid shit and mesh in with other people and can have conversations, that's education. Not a classroom. That's education. When you travel to overseas and you meet other ethnicities and see their culture, eat their foods or whatever, whoop-de whoop-de whoop, that's education. Communication is education. Understanding finances is the real education. And don't be the type of person to be like, oh yeah, I know this, when another person that look like you trying to help you and oh, I know it. You're not gonna learn shit. Put your heads together and then another person, and form a fucking organization. And hire some of your people that are like-minded. This is how we could get out of our situation. And that deals with money. Or we could do it faster. The fastest way is 1% of our population. 500,000 of us put in $10 a month. That's $5 million a month. That's $60 million a year. Each city fucking do that. That has black people. And build your communities, build a force field around it, and we don't have to deal with the goddamn AI. We can have our own way of doing things, because what other ethnicities do, they buy the police, they buy the mayor, and they buy the governor. Who do you think runs the country? Organizations. That's who are buying the president. Organization and wealthy families. And those politicians and all that, they got to do what them motherfuckers say. Why do you think it's so evil and America's doing so much evil shit? Because it's a bunch of people that only mix with their distant cousins. That's line breeding. That creates a retardation. So literally, we getting ran by retarded people. They're not humane. We have this at our fingers now. We have laptops. Everyone, do your due diligence and look up these people and make it hard for them, because they're making it hard for us. With inflation, they're turning white people against black people against white people, black people against black people. It's retarded shit. We have enough food to eat. We have enough money to spend and everyone live a certain way. But they want to hoard it because they want us to go back to motherfucker feudalism. They want slaves because that's how they can make the most money. That's how their great, 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 great ancestors became billionaires back in the fucking 1880, 1900s and shit like that. And millionaires in the 1700s. Slavery. And they're trying to do that now. Look up smart cities. It's basically slavery. But you'll have everything that you need in the smart cities, but You're going to have a digital, you ain't going to have no privacy, y'all. This video is going to age well, very well, if YouTube doesn't take it off. Because YouTube could do whatever they want, because this is their invention. This is their business. They could do whatever they want, y'all. And I don't even think they could do whatever they want now, because they're ran by corporations. The ad people run it. That's why AI channels are getting put down, because he or she who pays you controls you. So brothers and sisters, if you're giving $10 a month and it's organized, and it's 500,000 of us serious business owners that are Black do this, we own that chamber of commerce, because he or she who pays you controls you. Do you know those people in the chamber of commerce, they're going to get paid off of you, and they're going to watch the money, but they're going to have another job too. You're better in their life. What if we just, okay, you guys stealing, we're not going to do this no more. That $70,000 a year job that they have to really just check maybe 2 weeks out the month. You know what I'm saying? They gonna want that. They ain't gonna do no stupid stuff. And if they do, they ask the prison, and we gonna make an example out of them. We have to have good systems. If we don't have good systems, we're gonna be the slaves again. Aboriginal American Indians live off the grid. See, one thing about my brothers and sisters who are Aboriginal American Indians, they only want people to hear it. Who gives a fuck? Get a business behind it. If you got a organization and you put money into it, and then you guys start doing like the FOI, people will respect you more. People don't give a fuck about laws. Yeah, what you saying is true. But listening to Dane Calloway and other people and helping them, that's just this. Do something. My brother spot is doing things. We don't have the performers like Dane Calloway. We don't have the performers like Dr. Umar. We don't have those type of performers to raise you up like a goddamn pastor. Why we always got to be entertained? Huh? I get the most views when I had this fucking lake behind me. That's the only time I get Black people subscribing to the channel. Why everything gotta be entertainment? Let's get together and make some shit happen peacefully. Do it in groups. Not have a leader and then they Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. That's not it. We gotta have deep groups. They can't do shit then. Stop fucking having an ego. Goddamn egos, man. And the men want to be the shit and all the women. Stop that. Groups. Let's share. Let's make a movement that's not about us. It's about the future of our children. And make it to where at least we have a force field where they can't really harm us. And we could have communities all over America, and we don't have to go up in these other folks' community if we don't want to. If we want to and go and check out their stuff, that is dope. You know what I'm saying? But we want to make it 100% safe in our communities. Have our cops there. If we have an Asian cop, if we have white cops, they understand what we're doing, how we want it. And that takes this. Stop saying, brothers and sisters, stop saying money ain't real. Well, why is our fucking gas prices going up? Why do we have mortgages? Why do we have property tax? Why don't you have a house? Why are you renting? Because you have a lack of money. Come on, get out of this shit. You could do it. Brothers and sisters, you could do it. Stop talking down upon the effort. And when you upset, stop getting mad and lashing out on the people who love you. Stop doing that. That's ghetto shit. Stop lashing out on them. Always value people that celebrate you. And it don't matter who gives a fuck if they look good or not. Value them. Oh God. I don't care what I do with my fingers, but I feel you. All these signs and the earth is gonna end, or we can't go to space. It's a dome over. Who gives a fuck about that? Let's make our communities better. Oh yeah, black. It's a bad status. Well, you know what? If everyone start calling themselves Aboriginal American Indians, they gonna make that shit a bad status. The fuck? Well, our ancestors sold the treaty. America don't care about treaties, especially if you don't have money. If you have money, then they'll be like, ooh, these people generate 60 million a year. We want some of that 60 million. How are we gonna barter with them? Black people, understand how these motherfuckers think, because they study us. Excuse me, I'm a part of you. Us. They study us. That's the problem. We don't study them. We out here trying to act like we the hardest thing. Oh, black man strong. Then why don't we own anything? Actions are always stronger than words. I went out to the Virginia Heights. I was just rolling around and I was just peeping out, you know, the beautiful situations that white people have in their community. And I'm not even jealous. I was just like, damn, this shit is like, they actually running their shit cool and they not fighting. You know, they drinking, some of them were bent. They're walking all on the sidewalk, hey, just as happy. We could do that too. But they have their systems together. And I've seen like 7 black women with white men. You know, and I'm talking about good looking queens. That's a survival tactic. Some of those black women don't even want to be with those men. It's just like they have to. They need a lifestyle. They don't have many choices. This is why, and white men could do it in their corporations. They don't want handsome men in those buildings because a lot of those women, and getting paid well, because a lot of those women gonna go after the Latino man, the brother, the Samoan who's tall. All these different ethnicities of women are gonna be around pale white men, and they're gonna be able to put their seed in those women, and those women are going to have a comfortable lifestyle, you know. And America's system makes it to where now they're putting another gene pool in the white gene pool. And then that makes more white people. You don't think they're thinking like this? This is what I mean. Money is a tool. And whoever doesn't think so is a fool. They utilize this. They have big thinking tanks, y'all. And so we're not keeping up with the reproduction. And then we're just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller Aboriginal American. And they just going to they're going to take our country through mixing. And then I trip about, you know, the Aboriginal American. I got a little Indian in me. And then they show some mixed motherfucker. The Indians were the goddamn full-blooded, and everyone look African. That was just a standard look upon people around the world. But white people were so smart what they did. And see, y'all talking and listening and reading books. When you read a book, it could be a lie. That's a man writing that book. If you go to the place, you evaluate it, you see, and you travel outside of America and go to these places, that's when you get more of the truth. And when I was in the Navy, I got the truth. I've been on the island Negrito, and those are the original Filipinos. Those motherfuckers were black. They didn't mix with the Spaniards. And some of them that did on there, yeah, they a little mixed. They brown, they Tiger Woodish. But I seen some Negritos, and they little and short. They did that all over the planet. Because if you have a dark-skinned person, male or female, like dark, and then you have a pale white person, male or female, and they mix, 9 out of 10 times that offspring gonna be light. And they know that. So they didn't have cameras then. So you mix, now you made a Blake Griffin. And then after that, Blake Griffin mixed with a white woman, like his mom. And then you have what Blake Griffin have. Look it up. And that's what happened around the world. It had nothing to do with goddamn climate. And that's in a fucking book. It was mixing. It was mixing. And it happened over and over again because those women wanted to survive. No, I'm going to get with someone light. It happened in Brazil, Philippines, Thailand, China, Japan. I'm going to get with the light. These people lie so much. They said Jesus Christ is white. The image is everywhere. And that's, if you research the area, it wasn't like one white person there then. Stop believing books, man. Stop believing this shit. Arabs were black at first. When you mix white, black, study the wars. When you mix white, black, and Asian together, you get a Middle Eastern, Latino look every time. Those aren't the original. This is what I learned in the Navy. These are people telling me this that are Arabs in Dubai. And I'm there in 96 and we talking and this, that, like, you know, the original looked like you everywhere around the world. Yeah, okay, Jesus was Arab. But check this out. Arabs were black at first. But black men don't know how to keep their dinglings in their pants. And they mix with a pale person. Or they mix with an Asian. Asian, white, and black mix makes a Latino. Middle Eastern look why do you think Middle Easterns and Latinos look alike? And they're on 2 different continents. Because it's the same goddamn mix. How do you think an American Akita is made? A Japanese Akita. And then you have sometime a little German Shepherd, a Pyrenees, and then a Dogo. Wait, what is that called? It's a Mastiff. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, a Japanese. Yeah, Japanese. Mastiff. It's called a Tosa Inu. So you blend a Tosa Inu with a Japanese Akita, a little breeding of a German Shepherd, and a Pyrenees, like these white big dogs. You get an American Akita. You keep breeding them. You get a look. Did that have to do something with weather? Humans can mix just like any other animal and look like something. If you dig in the ground, they said they dug in the ground in Louisiana, where so-called Native Americans they died of smallpox. This happened. This happened in Mexico everywhere. And they dug down and further down. It's nothing but Negroid skulls. They didn't have the flat LL Cool J have mixture in their blood. They didn't have that. They had the Negroids of America. We have the hooks. The Negroids in Africa have the flat heads, the flatter heads. So when they mixed with the pale, they made Asians. They have the flat heads too, because the Africans were the Asians. You know what I'm saying? When you mix. But the so-called African Americans that are the Aboriginal American Indians, they had the hooks. Those are Latino men. You cut their hair, they got the hooks too. The Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, they be light, speaking Spanish. They were running from Genghis Khan. That's how the Asians came down. They was running from Genghis Khan, and after that, they met the brothers and sisters in the Americas, in the Washington, Oregon, California, and then they mixed and had all kind of Tiger Woods running everywhere. And then the Spaniards came. White, Asian, and black mixture makes a Latino Middle Eastern time. When they were in the Middle East, when it wasn't even a desert, it was nothing but black men and women. Had nothing to do with goddamn climate. Dark, looking like Sudanese. Then the pale came in somewhere. And then the Mongoloids came in trying to get in and get the resources. And then next thing you know, they all mixed together. And then you got a Latino looking person that's wearing a head thing over their head. You put a sombrero on a Middle Eastern and you gonna think he speaks Spanish. I've already done this shit. And we be laughing and all that. They think I'm joking. I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers look alike. Why you think so-called African Americans, the only Africans that look like African Americans are in South Africa, in the colored part? Because they fucking mix with white people. They got people look like me in South Africa, and they're Africans. And then you got your original Africans that are in Cape Town and above Cape Town. They look Asian. They be like kind of yellow and peanut butter skin, and they be like chinky eyes. And you see them. Those are original. And they got the hair. Just even look at black people hair, like the real thick stuff that you see on Rasta's hair, on African hair. Is it any animal on this planet that our hair grows out of their body? Animals' bodies? No, because we're human. We are 100% human. You see other ethnicities' hair on the horse tail. You see it in dogs. It's the same shit. We are original. And the wealthy people that know the truth hate it. And they want more mixture, and they want more people looking like them. They're that blatant. It is nonsense to people who's emotional. When you dig deep down in the ground, I'm not saying this to be like, oh, we're the original, we're the best. The truth is the essence. If you dig deep in the ground, you have nothing but Negroid skulls. It's people right now that I'm kind of close to. They're still trying to figure out, and they're pretty up there as in lab technicians, anthropologists. They don't know where white people came from, bro. They don't know. You know where black people came from. The bones go down. It's like, yo, like white people are really actually new to this planet. They're the teenagers and they're acting like it. Then why don't animals have nappy hair growing out of their body? What the fuck are you talking about? It's no animal on this planet that has nappy hair. A sheep is biracial hair. That's curly locks. I'm talking about naps. You never see an animal that got naps on their growing out, because that's a human. That's hair. That's not fur. That is not fur. It's the truth. I'm not hating, man. It just is what it is. And unfortunately, I have to say it. And black people need to hear it so they could get some type of confidence, because a lot of your people mess up our confidence and make us think that we don't have no type of significance on this planet. And that's why a lot of black people either breed out like Michael Jackson. He didn't like his nose. I love my nose. I love women that have noses like me, because I was raised by two parents that love themselves and they love me. But that's not normal in the black community. So they depict all these images that, of Caesar Borgia. That's the Jesus image. That was a real man, but it's Caesar Borgia. Hey, Jesus, yo. Jesus had hair, they said like wool, but it was nappy. His feet was like burnt brass. And even if it didn't say that, you know what I'm saying? In that area at that time with bones, because this sister went to that area where Jesus walked, and all the bones are Negroids. This is not emotional. And she works for a foundation, but she did extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? And she said that they actually put those bones up in Europe somewhere, and they didn't display it to no one because they don't want the truth revealed. I mean, it'll lower a lot of people confidence and lower the confidence in religion. We're not looking at the excuses. We are looking at the psychological things that's happening to people around the world. Jesus Christ, the image of Jesus Christ is white. So people psychologically are always going to be nice and favorable to the most perfect man that ever walked this planet. If they showed the real Jesus Christ, then that will validate us being treated nice. It's subconscious. You can't help it. That's why they had to make that image, because they do so much bad back in the days around the world, so much to get all of the resources from these people, ancestors that's worshiping them and putting their gene pool in their gene pool. You know what I'm saying? That's how strong that image is. And they don't even know why they're doing it. Plus, they have the comfort of money, the situation. You know how many white men get hired and they're not even good at what they do? My mom trained them at Hewlett Packard. My dad trained them, in the labs in TRW, and they sucked. I used to hear my parents talking, God, I'm training them. And then later on, they become a supervisor or a regional supervisor. And then they're always calling, like, my mom, especially my mom, hey, Cent, what should I do with such and such? Like that, they don't even know how to do anything. And then my mom had to help them. And my mom pay goes up probably about 2% a year. These are the shit that people aren't seeing in a black home, and how much bullshit we got to go through. You know what I'm saying? If I was white and American, I would be like the most American motherfucker, because they do so much for y'all white people and y'all don't even see it. And then you fight about Democrat and Republican when it's really what type of wealthy person that thinks that way is pushing the agenda that you prefer. He or she who pays you controls you. Presidents get money to run. They have to do what them motherfuckers say. Get that in your head. Voting? Shit, them motherfuckers are the electoral college. The wealthy and the corporations, they're the electoral college. They just want to see your votes, who's popular. And then they got to conjure up a lie if the popular doesn't get in. Because they own the media. It's privatized. Thank you, Clinton. Come on, y'all. Fucking think. And you're fighting each other, and you know, the Confederacy, man, they don't give a, they running this shit. They only giving you more crumbs, a bigger crumb. Your crumb as a white person is this big. Now, as a black person, it's about that big. And other ethnicities that come from other countries that these white politicians have done like deals with them, side deals. Yeah, we'll pay your people, we'll bring them in, this, that. You get this much of a, it's about large as my nose, which that's pretty big. Yeah, you get that much of a crumb. Because you hinder our growth. You may not know it, but you do. You know, and if I was you, I will buy up shit in our community too. Set up gas business, gas stations with snacks and all that shit in there. I set that up. I'll be in the community selling t-shirts because we don't value each other and certain stuff, and they'll buy your shit at the liquor store. We have been done so fucking wrong. And it's so smooth and slick that not even black people know it. So a lot of people will say things. When people say things very disrespectful, that means their feelings is hurt. You know, their feelings is hurt. And I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt y'all feelings and your epiphany of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I apologize, but the truth has to come out. And it's hard for me to even be gullible when I've been all over the world. You know, I lived in Brazil for 8 months. I lived in Colombia for 7 months. You know, I've been to Japan, Tokyo, Hachimura. I've been to the Philippines. I've been to Malaysia. I've been to Singapore. I've been to Perth, Melbourne, Australia. I've been to Panama. I've been to a lot of fucking places. How can I be gullible? And I've seen poor ass fucking people. And I'm eating and shit. I'm a sailor. And I'm seeing poor ass people. And I'm like, God damn, why do these people keep going under the highway over there? Oh, they live under there. What? Damn, so they living for free? No, they pay rent. And then we wonder why people come over here from other countries and kick ass because we're fucking spoiled. You have the mind of a gullible child. You a fool for saying that. I'm far from gullible. I even know we're spoiled over here as Americans. Even the Americans in the hood is spoiled. You mark. Stupid motherfucker. You just mad. This is what I'm talking about. I probably didn't get no subscribers. I don't get money because I hurt people's feelings. Because I'm not pacifying you spoiled motherfucker Americans. Y'all motherfuckers spoiled. Go overseas and not go in a 5-star or 4-star or 3-star, hotel and see how people live. They are struggling right now. And you know why? Because America and other bully governments took their resources. You gullible motherfucker. You a mark. This is what I'm saying, America. And black people, we have to get our act together and we have to build our force field around our communities. because we make other ethnicities so rich and wealthy that they're not going to want to part with that. We have to get organized, form groups. I'm just putting this out. I ain't going to be no goddamn leader. I ain't going to be the one getting shot because that's all they're going to do. That's all they know how to do is kill and steal. That's what they good at. So, family, I'm Jay Hadwinn, brand ambassador of My Brother Spot. I promote geeks, black geeks, and it's 100% black owned SEO company. And I talk, but at the same time, I talk real shit. And the reason why I represent My Brother Spot, I normally don't go on rants like this, but the reason why I represent them is because they made my 2 websites a lot of passive income. None of y'all motherfuckers know I'm making money off y'all because I have a faceless brand. Why do you think they didn't want this internet going on? So brothers and sisters, start getting faceless brands and show your talent and give these people your services and your products and make your money. Get with My Brother Spot. www.mybrothaspot.com. Get with mybrotherspot.com and get your one-page website for $145 with blog capabilities. Fast, dedicated servers. You're gonna rank. You're not gonna be on no goddamn Wix that's taking black people money, putting black people pictures on there. You're not gonna be no GoDaddy doing the same goddamn thing, Shopify, all that, because you're not gonna rank on those websites because they have slow servers and the AI on the search engines won't rank you because you're loading slow. Just that, and it's other things, it's coding and all that. The geeks tell me this, the brothers and sisters that are geeks. Stop getting fooled and feeding this machine that don't even like you, and it's no black people even working for them. I'm gullible. You should be ashamed of yourself. All right, peace.